As kids, a lot of times when we got action figures, someone else bought them for us, even if we did pick them out. But I'm going to tell you about the time I bought my own action figure with my own earned money. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you. And kind of just one of these videos where I tell you a little story about something I did growing up that's usually action figures or 80s related or something like that. Sometimes it's just fun to kind of reminisce about the old days. And it's just been one of those crazy days. I had a son had a problem with his car. Had to get it towed to the wrong place. Had to get it towed to the right place. It was a headache. You ever try to reach anyone at an insurance company? All you get is press 1, press 2. And then I had to deal with a second copyright strike on the second channel, thanks to Analog Toys sent me there because I thought it would be fun to do a little clip, taking a clip where he's talking about me and then putting me being silly next to it. I thought it'd be fun and fair use and like this.
His behavior is unlawful. He has shown a precedent for this, impersonating people's identities.
No, I'm not Kurt Cobain. See the bloody nose? Uh-oh, there goes another copyright strike, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have put that in there, but so I'm trying to fight that now. But anyway, it's just been a real long, crazy day, so I didn't really research a video, and this was kind of a topic I kind of wanted to talk about anyways. It was a good time to talk about it. Now, as you know, growing up in the 70s, 80s, I was really into Star Wars. I've talked about it before. I was a one-trick kind of pony guy. I was like, Star Wars, that's it. That's what I'm playing with. Then I moved on to He-Man. I mean, I had a few other toys. You know, somebody at Christmas give me something. Went to this party, somebody gave me a G.I. Joe motorcycle with a figure. And I had other figures here and there. But for the most part, Star Wars, and that was it. And I was the same way with video games. You know, my brother had Atari, and I, of course, would play it. Then I had a Nintendo, and I was like, Sega, no. TurboGrafx-16, no. Get all that stuff away from me. PlayStation, never had. Nintendo, I was a Nintendo man until I quit playing video games. And I just, that's how I am. And now it's, I've got an Apple phone, I got an Apple computer. So once I get something and I like it, I usually stick with it until they really tick me off. But anyway, when it came to toys, I was like, okay, my brother, he usually had most of the Star Wars figures. Me and my grandma, my brother, we'd go to Zayre's on the weekend. We spent a lot of weekends with her, and we'd always beg for Star Wars figures, but we kept them in a big pony shoebox. We didn't have a carrying case, or at least early on, and we would just throw all the figures in there. And although most of them was his figures, we kind of shared out of the box, I remember we would lay down on the floor and get that shoebox, and we wouldn't play Rebels versus Empire because it was too confusing. Where does the alien go? Who gets the alien figures? Or, there are too many good guys, not enough bad guys. So we go, you pick one, I pick one. You pick one, I pick one. We would do that to build our kind of armies when we played together. So it was a lot of fun. I remember we put the Death Star on top of the table in the dining room. The rebels had to get from the floor of the carpet up to the top of the Death Star, and it was a lot of fun. I don't, just something you don't get to play toys like that anymore once you hit my age anyway. But here I wanted to earn my own money. It was now I've looked at this toy that I did buy, and it said 1978, but I don't think this happened in 1978. Let's see, how old? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 years old. Maybe so. Maybe 6 or 7. I'm going to say it's a little bit older because I know I was with my friend Boyd, and so I think I'm a little older probably by now, but maybe it's something that just stayed on the market for a long time. So I'm going to say it's probably 80, 81 on the top of my head, again, just guessing here. So we had a yard at our house. Of course, everybody had a yard, but I'm going to sweep up, do some yard work, and earn some money here. And I was never one to earn money. Never cut the grass. I never want to do anything to earn any money. I'd be like, hey, I want my own money. And I'd be like, hey, well, go cut the grass. I don't want no money that bad. I want money for laying on my ass. But I can remember, I said, okay, I got to get this money. I'm going to go to Zayre's, buy my first Star Wars figure. It's going to be mine. It's going to be mine. It's not, I didn't even want to share it. I know I was a little spoiled kid. I said, not even going to share it. This is going to be my Star Wars figure. When we pick out the box, automatically, I get that one right there. I know it wasn't really fair because my brother was sharing all his with me, but anyway, I remember raking. It wasn't even the whole yard. It was just one little patch or something. It was something. I'm sure my parents just told me to do it, so I quit begging for money, trying to get me out of their hair, and they was going to give me the money anyway. So, because it wasn't much money. It was probably like, when you see this toy, you can go, okay, it wasn't much. I want to say it's $5, but I doubt it was even $5. This thing, you got to think, an action figure, a Star Wars figure, cost about $1.99, $2, maybe $3 at the very, very, very most, unlikely. So we're talking something probably, $1, maybe even cheaper than that. But anyway, I got this money, and boy, was I excited. So I remember going to school, and I was like, I cannot wait till after school, because I'm gonna buy something with this money. I'm gonna buy a Star Wars figure. So I got this money, put it in my pocket, went to school all day. It was like the longest school day of the year. Whew. It was that and a day where I bought Cringer. I need to tell that story too. I bought Cringer one day, and it was one of the longest school days. But this was a long school day, and I was like, come on, over and over. So I got out of school. My parents were at work. I got home. I had my grandma already planned to pick me up. I was like, hey, can you take me to Zayre? Told her I had to get some stuff for school. Which, hey, I did pick up a notebook and some other stuff, but my goal was to get that toy. So went to Zayre's. Okay, I can remember walking into Zayre's. The Zayre's clothes were in the front, toys were kind of in the back side over there by the electronics. So walked over there, all knew what I was gonna get. I'm getting me a Star Wars figure that we don't have, which is odd because we probably had all the figures at this time already. And I probably was gonna buy one that we already had, that my brother had. One that he always picked. I can't remember exactly which one that is. That was probably, there being selfish, I was probably like, hey, I'm going to get one that way. I'll have it and he won't pick it. So, we got the same figure. So, anyway, I walked back there. I remember looking through the Star Wars figure. But I don't remember which one I was looking for, but I do remember I couldn't find it. I could not find it. And I didn't even mention my friend Boyd was with me at this time. We were looking through the pegs, and he was like, hey, get this one. And I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't need 2 hammerheads. Hey, get this one. I don't need another Walrus Man. So we were digging through, looking around, all this stuff, trying to find something. And I was like, they don't have it. And Boyd, if you knew him like I did, this is something he would say for years, probably still does. He's like, well, just save that money, work it off, get some more, buy something better next time, buy a land speeder or something, but just save that money, or when you come back and you got the toy you want, you can buy it then. But my problem is I want it now, and I was like, I'm gonna buy something. So I started looking around the other toy section, and that's when I saw it. It was I was really into the television show The Incredible Hulk at the time. Who wasn't, right? Who wasn't? Did a whole video, Incredible Hulk fighting the Hillbilly Hulk. If you didn't see that, please check that out. But okay, I was really into Hulk, and they had this Hulk, but it wasn't really quite an action figure. I wouldn't call it a Bendum. It was made by the Vic Company, and it was like a big hunk of rubber. It was kind of like, I guess it's technically kind of like a Bendum. I don't think there was any wire frame on the inside, from what I remember. It wasn't like a Stretch Armstrong, but you could stretch it. It was god-awful ugly, and I'll put some pictures up. I found it online, because I forgot what this was until a few years ago. I saw it online while working on a video, and I said, that's it. That's that Hulk I had. So I can remember getting this Hulk, and in the car ride back home, looking at it, I was all excited. This Hulk. I was at this time, you could hardly find anything Hulk at the store, and although it wasn't technically based on a television show, I can remember thinking, this don't look nothing like the Hulk from TV. That was my only reference to Hulk. I'm sure I knew there was a comic book and everything, but I never really read the comics. I knew it was a cartoon character, I knew superhero, but to me, my whole world was Hulk, TV. That was all. That was my Hulk experience right there. So I can remember stretching this thing. I can remember you play with it enough and stretch it enough. Like if you stretch it, he had purple pants on, like the TV show. You could pull it hard enough, and you could see the green paint under the purple pants. And the more you play with it, the more that purple just wore off. It really wore off really, really bad. But I played with this Hulk. I love this Hulk. I remember I got home. I was like, I forgot all about Star Wars for that day. Probably the only day in my life I ever forgot about Star Wars, but I did. I don't remember Boyd ever playing with it. I don't know if he was probably like, ugh, this dude bought a rubber Hulk. But I played with it. I can remember I had it was like a chest, but it had drawers on it. It was like a chest of I don't know what you call it, but it's like a chest about this high, had drawers all on it. And I can remember having to climb up the side of it and stand. And I would push him, let him fall. Boom! And he was rubber, so he just bounce off the floor and bounce back. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And I remember putting him up there, open the drawers, because it was like a chest, but it had drawers on it. And you open the drawer, and then he bounced off each one like he was falling down the stairs. And I can remember I tortured the hell out of this thing. We had a staircase. My room was upstairs, and I just chunk it down the steps, let it fall down the steps, throw it up into the air, let it hit the ground. I destroyed this thing, but you couldn't destroy it. It was made out of rubber. That's right. You could not destroy this thing. And I pulled it and twisted it. Oh, it was a lot of fun. And honestly, my memory of this toy is that day. Or right around that, right Then I don't remember ever seeing this toy again. You know, a lot of toys I had throughout the years. I played with He-Man for a few years. I played with Star Wars for a lot of years. And even when I got older, hey, there's my Star Wars figures. I don't know whatever happened to this. Don't you wish sometimes you know what happened to some of these toys? Even if it's lost forever, you're just like, what happened to it? Well, your parents have thrown it away. Now, this thing probably looked like a dog toy, and our dog was left outside, so my mom and dad probably stepped on it and said, what is this? Why is there a dog toy inside? And then probably threw it away, threw it in the backyard, and let the dog have it. I don't know what happened, but it's not a very cool-looking toy. It's not a very good-looking Hulk, but I just always have this memory, like, burned in my head of that day. You know, it's weird how some days you might do something cool, but then fades away. You don't even remember it. There's a lot you did as a child you don't even remember. Hell, there's stuff I probably did last week I don't remember. I had a guy email me about a video I did, and I was like, I don't even remember making that video. I don't remember making that video at all. And he's like, it was last week, Junkman. And I had to go back and look. I was like, oh, I did do that video. I don't even remember it. Getting old. But it's just weird how some of these memories, I mean, I've got that. I got the waiting for school to get over so I could get Cringer. Oh, because I went to the store, found out Cringer was there. I didn't even know they made Cringer. And then I was like, I got to get Cringer. We'll talk about that. And I'm trying to write down some stories in a book I've been working on. It's been taking a long time. I've got some of the first Star Wars figures I ever saw at the store. That's going to be a lot of fun. But again, this is kind of just a reminiscing video. I know you're not going to learn anything on this one. You're like, ooh, cool. But maybe some of you have this Hulk out there. But sometimes it's fun just to talk and share and, you know, think about the good old days, as we call it, the good times. Talk about the old toys, the old TV shows, the old memories we had as a kid. And I like putting these out there too because I know my memory's going, and maybe in a few years I won't even remember this story, and I can go back to this video and say, oh man, that Hulk. And like I said, hopefully I threw up some pictures in this video. You can see how ugly this thing was, and let me know if you had it also. I know it's not doesn't have a twist ending. You know, not like Amy Cove we saw it. It's like, oh my God, I got to date the Junkman or Junk Kid at this time. It's just something I just kind of wanted to talk about. Like I said, it's just been one of those days where it's just been crazy after crazy after crazy. And I said, let me just kind of go up here and relax because I like making videos. Some people are like, why do you make 2 videos a day, Junkman? Well, I just like making videos. So people are like, oh man, you're going to burn out. I don't know. If I burn out, then I'll stop doing it. But it's just a lot of fun for me. But let me know if you had this Hulk, or let me know some of your memories. I like reading your memories. Hell, we might do a video where I'll read your memories and talk about some of the things y'all wrote in the comments below. That could be fun. So don't forget 2 videos, noon and 8. And over on the second channel, we do a lot of short videos over there and stuff, but hopefully we won't get that third strike. I guess that's it, guys. That's it. Well, I want to thank you for watching. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.